Hello again. No. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Hello again. This is Multiple Exposure Reviews. I'm Kieran. This is Bear, and this is Brent. Today we're going to be discussing the Avengers: Age of Ultron. This video will be a spoiler-free discussion, and we will do a spoiler video as well. So feel free. There'll be a link for that one at some point when we've put it up. But yeah, I suppose we'll just get straight into it with our general thoughts. And I normally start, so I guess you start this time, Brent.
Yeah.
Holy shit. We've been waiting 3 years and we finally saw it. And I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Better than the first one,
Okay.
I think.
You think?
Yeah,
You're not too
I
sure?
think it was better than the first one.
I think we've all seen it twice. Well,
Yeah,
you've
we've
seen
all
it
seen
3
it
times.
Yeah, I saw it 3
Me and Brent have
times.
seen it twice.
Twice,
Yeah.
Because we're in Australia and fuck you, America.
Basically.
Yeah, I think you get it a week after us.
Hey, we get everything else late. We can have this one thing.
Yeah, we've got
one thing.
Marvel Studios. They
Yeah.
like Australia for some reason.
I
But
love us. We're a good place to vacation with
yeah.
actors.
what did you think?
First time I saw it, I thought it was good, not great. Still better than the first. And the second time, I thought it bordered the line between bad and average.
Wow,
And
really?
I wasn't the only person I thought that. The 2 people I saw it with thought the same. And judging from like the cinema's response, it wasn't warm the second
Okay.
time. But yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of like you see a lot of everyone on the internet, you hear people saying like that's the funny part. It's a Marvel film. The funny quips come first, and the dialogue and the plot comes second.
Yeah.
And I felt like the second time I watched it, I didn't like always laugh at the jokes, and like the rest of the stuff didn't really hold together as much. Like the jokes were covering it up,
Yeah.
and especially the action. The action was so bad. Terrible.
The first time we saw it together.
Yep.
And yeah, I had this thought in that opening action sequence because it jumps like straight into the action.
Yep.
And it's quite shaky. It's very CGI.
Yeah,
Very, very CGI. And I had this thought.
Thor was very noticeable.
Yeah, when he
Yeah.
picked up that big pole and was hitting people
Yeah.
and stuff, and it was really cool at the same time though. Like
Yeah.
seeing them all back together.
Will it age well though? Like, will that CGI age well? Like,
Probably. I feel like it won't age as well as the first one.
Yeah.
Because the CGI was pretty tight.
Yeah.
The first one I felt like there was a couple of but look, I really like the film. I'd rate it on par with the first one.
Yep.
But it does have problems.
Yeah.
It definitely does have problems, but yeah, I don't know if I'm just getting swept up in the Avengers craze and just love seeing them all on screen together, and no one else is doing this, and it's just, is it great? Do I think it's great because it's all we've really got of this team dynamic thing? Like, I guess we'll have to wait until Justice League
I think
comes
that's why I
out.
enjoyed it more the first time I saw it, because I was the exact same with the first Avengers. The first time I saw it, I was like, hey, this is great, and then the second time I'm like, is this great?
Look,
or is just everyone just happy to see a comic book film with a complete ensemble?
One thing you did say, which I don't know if I would agree with, you said it was bad to average. Now, definitely,
It felt like a bad to average action flick.
okay,
Like the dialogue was great. Like that's what Joss Whedon does. He fucking nailed it again.
yeah.
But the action, and it was a lot of action, especially in like the third. It just wasn't good.
I thought the dialogue of this movie was better than the first one, but the action was a letdown. Yeah. Especially towards the end, where there's a lot of them, there's a lot of things going on, and it gets a bit shaky. Whereas the first one's really clear what's going on. It has that one really awesome panning shot that everyone remembers, and it just wasn't as good for me.
I'm gonna compare it again to Michael Bay's action. You couldn't tell what the fuck was happening half the time. It was too up close. It was too shaky.
It wasn't
was
that
like,
bad. But
it was like in the corner of the camera instead of like in the middle of the screen. It was like all everywhere. Especially that fucking Hulk Iron Man fight. It was all, especially throwing each other in the buildings and like going upside the building.
Yeah.
Also, that fight felt completely gratuitous. It just felt
it
thrown
was
tacked
sort of
in.
shoehorned in. Just
And I think it's because, do you remember before Iron Man 3 came out?
Yeah.
there was this big...
Oh, it was a Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah, so there was like a little bit in Iron Man 3 trailer, and it looked like a Hulkbuster.
It was that one where it runs through the shipping container,
and everyone went fucking insane.
Like,
It's a Hulkbuster.
Yeah,
And
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a reaction to that.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like they're... Like, even though this is a criticism against them, like that fight, you know, it was a bit, like you said, gratuitous, but I do feel like they're very good at responding to what fans want. Like,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
you know, every step of the way, they're kind of, I don't know, I feel like they do care about
They're
what fans want.
themselves. I was actually saying just before, I was saying to you that with the whole, the phase 2 of the Marvel films, Kevin Feige sort of compared to Star Wars. He's called it like the Empire Strikes Back stage. So a little fun thing is that in every one of the phase 2 movies, someone either has an arm cut off or gets an arm cut off. They put that in as a...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I went through the list and I was like, yeah, there is too. And I really noticed it the second time when, something happens.
Yeah. Someone gets their arm cut off,
Yeah.
and you'll have to see the movie to find out who.
Oh shit, that's right, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool little...
The one in Thor 2 was a fake out, though.
Yeah, but it's still...
But yeah.
And like Winter Soldier, I think just the fact that the arm was cut off,
Robotic.
no one...
What about Iron Man 3?
There was someone, I'm trying to think who it was.
Oh, they were amputees, the war people.
Yeah, I think he actually... Yeah, that's right. He cuts off the main dudes. The one who takes over the Iron Patriot suit, he cuts his arm off and he just grows back.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'd definitely... I'd put it on par with the first one, I think. But when I was watching it the second and especially the third time it really sunk in, I was like... In a perfect world, I would have Joss Whedon writing the script for the next one and Captain America directors directing, which they are doing, but they've got different writers doing it. The guys who wrote Cap 1 and Cap 2. Yeah. And they're fine, but I don't know. I feel like a competent director with Joss Whedon's material, and they can stick the landing. And this movie will be a good... It's very middle chapter.
Stepping stone.
Yeah, very, very much so. I felt there more kind of came out of Cap 2, consequence-wise.
Yeah.
You know, without spoiling anything. I guess that does a bit. Might cut that out. I won't. But yeah, no, and a lot of the action I really did like. Like, there's a slow-mo shot towards the end of the film.
Yeah,
the Avengers
that was cool.
You know, there's little bits of that all throughout, and I feel like, you know, every action sequence had you know, one or two things that I did quite like.
Yeah.
And that did kind of kick it up over a Michael Bay one. Like I can't, like, it's probably been a while since you've seen a Michael Bay action sequence.
That's pretty bad.
But I just mean, like, when
know,
the action
yeah.
is going, it's very up close. You can't tell, like, what's going on because it's all shaking everywhere. Like, I can tell, like, Joss Whedon does do it better. Like, I think I said that, like, last time it was a refined Michael Bay thing.
Yeah.
But he does have those cool scenes. Like, when they start playing Horde mode around that button they have to try to protect from all the robots. And it has that top-down view of them all, like, fighting. That was great.
Yeah.
That was great.
More stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
more
what-
like hold the cam, still
Let us
like
see
what the fuck's going on.
everything.
Yeah.
Like,
He does, and he relies on CGI a lot.
yeah.
And there's...
Do you think that's why the camera shakes so much? Because usually if you have a lot of CGI, you put it at nighttime. Fucking
Yeah,
half
and
the
the whole
movie.
film was a day.
yeah,
Everything,
exactly.
Every
So
sequence.
he's trying to cover up that.
Well, most camera shake in big budget films is artificial.
Yeah,
It's not done on set. Normally they will keep it as steady as they can, and they will add it in. Because if you're putting CGI on a shot, you don't want the camera to be shaking on set.
Yeah.
You want it as stable as
harder
possible.
Yeah.
And the artificial camera shake now looks, you know, pretty good. Like you can fake it. You can fake it quite well. So, yeah. All in all, I definitely enjoyed it. He gets all the characters.
For sure.
Yeah.
He nails
Ultron
it.
was great.
Yeah.
Needed
Yeah,
more
yeah.
Ultron.
Definitely needed more.
Yeah.
It was like a Thor 2 and an Iron Man 3 issue where I feel like they and we know that they've cut about half an hour off the film, and I feel like a big chunk of that would have been kind of Ultron and getting to know him a bit more, because they're riding on this wave of success, Disney and Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
And they know people want heroes, and they haven't really taken a big gamble. As much as I liked Ultron, he wasn't. His intentions were never clear to me. He kind of just was doing it to do it because like.
Where's comic book villain? Like.
Yeah, but we've had we've had Magneto.
Yeah.
15 years ago.
You can't compare all fucking. He's like the top villain. Like.
Well, you know what? I can. Because they're making movies, and that has come before it, and you need to hold it up against that. And we've had, with DC, we've had some really solid villains, and you've. And I feel like they need to perhaps focus a bit more on that, and that's why I'm kind of looking forward to Civil War, and I was looking forward to Civil War more so before I saw Age of Ultron, and even now, because there's not going to be a villain kind of shoehorned in. I'm sure there will be a villain, but it's not going to matter whether they're integral to the. I think the guy from Rush, he's like a German guy or something. Yeah. You know the movie Rush with Chris Hemsworth, the race car drivers? It was quite good.
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I know
Daniel Bruhl. He's going to be one of the bad guys in it.
But what does that mean in the movie?
He's probably some Hydra agent like Baron von Strucker in this one. He'll be I don't know. Yeah. So we've talked about kind of our thoughts on it. So I guess you're kind of right on one end, he's on the other, and I'm somewhere in the middle.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
It's just there was a lot of action, and the action was not great.
And like I still have criticisms of it, but I have criticisms of the first one as well. Yeah. As anyone should for anything they like, but it was good.
It was a good roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And that's why we all walked out seeing it the first time and loved it.
Yeah.
When you go on a roller coaster again, you know where the spins and the turns and shit are going to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like, a movie like this is not like something more Dark Knight, something like that, where you get a bit more out of it after you watch it. I feel like you probably get a bit less, but...
It's hard to do with these ensemble movies as well. Like, they are kind of roller coasters. Then you say the serious stuff, because you don't have enough time to do it with this many characters.
No. And there's so many characters now.
There really is, and I think that was...
Well, there's another 3 Avengers they put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more. Well...
Vision,
the Vision,
Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch.
And they kind of Warhammer. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah.
War Machine.
Yeah, War Machine.
Yeah.
All in all, pretty good.
I think
my favourite scene, the party. Hands down.
Let's not talk about too much about that.
Yeah. Everyone knows the scene. That is the best part of the movie.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep. And I think we can all agree that Hawkeye overall was so much better in this movie.
Yeah. And definitely very...
Well used.
I feel like Joss Whedon felt bad about what he did with him in the first one, because he got dumped into this project at the last minute with a terrible script. Yeah. He took it, he rewrote the whole thing, and he had all of these characters that were established, and then this guy kind of on the outside that, like, what do you do with him in that situation? Yeah. Like, there's no more room for him in that film. That film is like full already, like with everything they've got. So I get why he did that. He had to sideline him a bit, but...
Do you know what I appreciate with Ultron, which I wasn't expecting, is...
His comedy?
Yeah. Completely different to what I thought it would be. Like, every time... And it was typical of Joss Whedon as well. Every time something was going to be too serious, too sort of like dark and gritty, the humour came back. But it wasn't overdone either. It was just really well done. And Ultron... was not what I expected. Like, he was better than what I expected. Like, he wasn't in and enough for us.
Yeah. No, definitely not. I really hope we get a director's cut.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that.
There wasn't much Ultron and Age of Ultron.
And the title of the film really bothered me.
Yeah.
If you call something Age of something, you need 6 months at least of that happening.
He needs to have taken over the world for a long time.
Yeah,
there needs to be an Age of Ultron.
Not Day of Ultron.
Like of a small country.
Yeah.
Like a small part of a small country.
That he really didn't even...
I suppose they couldn't call it Ultron Rises or anything. I mean, what else do you call that?
Just call
Avengers 2?
Avengers 2.
Which would make more sense.
Electric Boogaloo.
Amazing Ultron.
You can put Ultron in the title, just don't call it Age of.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense, did it? But then again, like we said, it's probably like half an hour cut of all him. For all we know. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I'd love to see more. definitely. Like actually worked into the, like I want to see, I don't want to watch deleted scenes on the Blu-ray.
No, I just want it
because-
to be official.
Like
Yeah,
an
I want them
extended
to
cut.
release an extended cut that is canon. That you can
Yeah.
watch either that or that's the thing, because they're creating such a fine-tuned universe. I remember I think Joss Whedon shot something with Peggy Carter in the first Avengers film, but they had they cut it and didn't put it in, and they couldn't put it on the Blu-ray or anything because they were doing it in Cap 2.
Yeah.
So because they're creating this kind of tight-knit universe,
That's right.
they might be
Yeah, I know.
constrained to what they can put into an extended cut.
I think
if
what
they
you're
do one.
talking about is meant to be at the end of Avengers.
Possibly. I know there was. I
Yeah, 'cause that
think
would make sense.
he definitely said there was a lot more time spent with Cap, kind of adjusting to the world. Whereas
Yeah.
when we meet him in the first Avengers, he's
Like
just
30
working.
seconds.
He's working out. Nick Fury comes in, and I think there's a bit more time spent with him, which not really necessary at the end of the day.
They've really nailed Cap's character in these movies now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like,
Do
it was pretty
you,
good.
do you feel like he was? I mean, he had a couple of good scenes. He definitely was. I felt we would see more of him. Maybe you disagree.
No, I think it's actually really well balanced.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of characters. I was thinking about
There's
that.
definitely more Tony Stark.
You think so?
Yeah, I think. Not in the third act,
Yeah.
but definitely the
Yeah,
first
definitely
two.
at the start.
And
Well,
you
it was,
can-
it was a Tony Stark film. Like, he created Ultron.
Yeah.
And then it's on his shoulders. And then it's his problem.
But I
to deal with.
like-
There's a lot of Hawkeye and Black Widow actually, which is fine. Like it works well, and Hawkeye's really good.
Yeah.
And the twins had a bit. I don't think they had enough. Like they did and they didn't. I felt like you
If
weren't.
you
There's
didn't
enough
watch,
characters. There's enough characters.
if you didn't watch the post-credit scene of Cap 2,
Who the fuck are these people?
you would be. I feel like you would be. Like I saw it with someone who never watches the post-credit scenes. Just an average cinema goer.
Yeah.
She saw Cap 2 when the film came out.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? How do they have powers? Like, you know,
Yeah.
they reference it very slightly, but if you didn't watch that scene, like they clearly illustrate they're using the scepter to warp them. And there's only a very
Don't
small...
even remember that.
Oh, really? Don't you?
No, not at all.
The end of Cap 2?
I feel like
I feel like I probably
too.
watched it.
I mean, I can't say because none of us watch it, but I feel like there's a bit of tie-in from Shield. Like they sort of
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
yeah.
Okay.
I feel like because they make a lot of little references, like, and they start using terms like enhanced, and their dialogue just sounds like it's stuff that we should have heard before a little bit. So maybe it's from Shield. So what I'm thinking is, I mean, I saw the first few episodes of Shield, and like they were trying to make superpowered people, so maybe it ties in.
Possibly.
And they said like, you know, they'd been. I mean, obviously the show wouldn't have shown the Avengers, but about them taking down Hydra bases.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it is a tie-in somewhere.
There's probably some people out there thinking, this guy's a fucking idiot. That didn't happen.
I like that they had some downtime between films where they were working together.
Oh, the Avengers?
Yeah, we didn't see on screen.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
bond a bit better.
Yeah,
and-
they are, and there's a couple of relationships that have developed. You know, maybe ways you wouldn't think they would have.
Yeah.
But it didn't detract from the film for me, because sometimes that's an easy way out. But what immediately comes to mind is the second of the Star Wars prequels, where we're introduced to Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Best one.
And they're talking about all the adventures they had, but you never see any of it.
Yeah.
And they're always split up in the movie, and they're never really together, and
Yeah.
you never get this idea that they're friends.
Yeah.
But because they sold it so well in the first one, there was no problem jumping straight into this one, and you know, knowing that they'd done things together, and
Yeah.
and the team dynamic had strengthened a bit. So
And like they did lots of like power things in conjunction a little bit more.
Especially Thor and Cap.
Thor and Cap.
Cap and other people.
I want more Thor and Cap. Like
That
Should be a buddy cop film.
because their morals and values and whatnot
Yeah.
are so in line, and
That'll be a great buddy cop film. He's from outer space. He's from the past. We've joined up to fight crime, taking Hydra down.
absolutely.
Yeah, make it.
Thor Ragnarok should be that.
Yeah.
Like
As long as
hunting, no, just traveling around the universe,
Yeah.
hunting for infinity gems.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
That's
That'd be great.
absolutely.
Hey, is that your spaceship? Wait.
All right, I think we'll call it there, because I've got a lot of spoiler stuff I want to talk
Yeah.
about. I feel like I keep almost saying things, so
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this review, and let us know what you thought. There'll be a link at the end of the video for the spoiler-filled discussion, so feel free to check that one out. And yeah, I'm
Check
Kieran.
out our other videos.
Yeah, definitely. We've also, good reminding me, we've also got a series of videos discussing the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We kind of go over 2 or 3 films per video. We've got a Daredevil spoiler-free and spoiler-filled review. And yeah, at the moment it's all Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff. So I think we need to do something a bit different coming up soon.
Debbie does tell us.
Yeah, Debbie does this, absolutely.
Mad Max.
Matt, yeah,
Oh,
that's
shit,
the
yeah.
next big one.
Yeah.
I'd also like to rewatch the originals. So
I've never seen the originals.
yeah, me neither.
Or-
I don't
I've seen the first.
I feel
one.
like I've seen them. It's just when I was a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
same.
Like I remember Mel Gibson's in the desert.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we'll get to that soon, and yeah, have a look at our Facebook, Twitter, like us on there, follow us on that, and yeah, hope to see you soon. Thanks.
Cunts.